व्रज प्रियं धर्म संस्थापकं वीरं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुम्। ईश्वर भक्ति भाव से बहती संस्कारों की धारा, भारत माँ की सेवा में गीता परिवार हमारा, गीता परिवार हमारा। ईश्वर भक्ति भाव से बहती संस्कारों की धारा, भारत माँ की सेवा में गीता परिवार हमारा, गीता परिवार हमारा।
जय भारत माँ, जय गीता माँ, जय भारत माँ, जय गीता
संस्कृति का वैभव जग में सबसे न्यारा।
जय भारत माँ, जय गीता माँ, जय भारत माँ, जय गीता माँ।
भारतीय संस्कृति का वैभव जग में सबसे न्यारा, ज्ञान और विज्ञान यहीं से सबने पाया सारा, सबने पाया सारा। कुछ भूलों से हारा फिर से जीते देश हमारा, गीता परिवार हमारा, गीता परिवार हमारा।
जय भारत माँ, जय गीता माँ, जय भारत माँ, जय गीता।
चंदन है इस देश की माटी, चंदन है इस देश की माटी। हर नाम है तपोभूमि, हर नाम है। हर बाला देवी की प्रतिमा, हर बाला देवी की प्रतिमा। बच्चा बच्चा राम है, बच्चा बच्चा राम है। निष्ठा कल्याणी है। की कहती वाणी है। गंगा जलसा, जहाँ गंगा जलसा, गंगा जलसा, गंगा जलसा, निर्मल है अविराम है, निर्मल है अविराम है। हर बाला देवी की गंगा, हर बाला देवी की गंगा। बच्चा बच्चा राम है, बच्चा बच्चा राम है। चंदन है इस देश की माटी, तपोभूमि हर ग्राम है, तपोभूमि हर ग्राम है। हर बाला देवी की प्रतिमा, हर बाला देवी की प्रतिमा। बच्चा बच्चा राम है, बच्चा बच्चा राम है, बच्चा बच्चा राम है, बच्चा बच्चा राम है।
नारायण हरि, नारायण हरि, नारायण हरि बोल। नारायण हरि, नारायण हरि, नारायण हरि बोल।
नारायण हरि, नारायण हरि, नारायण हरि बोल। नारायण हरि, नारायण हरि, नारायण हरि बोल। नारायण हरि, नारायण हरि, नारायण हरि बोल। नारायण हरि, नारायण हरि, नारायण हरि बोल। नारायण हरि, नारायण हरि, नारायण हरि बोल।
नारायण हरि, नारायण हरि, नारायण हरि बोल।
नारायण हरि, नारायण हरि, नारायण हरि बोल।
नारायण हरि, नारायण
चरण सरोज रज निज मन मुकुर सुधारि बरन रघुबर बिमल जसु जो दायक फलचारि बुद्धिहीन तनु जानिके सुमिरौ पवन कुमार बल बुद्धि विद्या देहु मोहि हरहु कलेश विकार जय हनुमान ज्ञान गुण सागर जय कपीस तिहु लोक उजागर रामदूत अतुलित बल धामा अंजनी पुत्र पवन सुत नामा महावीर विक्रम बजरंगी कुमति निवार सुमति के संगी कंचन बरन विराज सुबेसा कानन कुंडल कुंचित केसा हाथ वज्र औ ध्वजा विराजय कांधे मूंज जनेऊ साजय शंकर सुवन केसरी नंदन तेज प्रताप महाजगवंदन विद्यावान गुणी अति चातुर राम काज करिबेको आतुर प्रभु चरित्र सुनिबेको रसिया राम लखन सीता मन बसिया सूक्ष्म रूप धरि सिंहि दिखावा विकट रूप धरि लंक जरावा भीम रूप धरि असुर सहारे रामचंद्र के काज सवारे लाय सजीवन लखन जियाए श्री रघुवीर हर्षि उर लाए रघुपति कीन्ही बहुत बड़ाई तुम मम प्रिय भरत ही सम भाई सहस बदन तुम रोजस गावै अस कहि श्रीपति कंठ लगावै सनकादिक ब्रह्मादि मुनीसा नारद सारद सहित अहिसा जम कुबेर दिगपाल जहाते कवि कोविद कहि सके कहाते तुम उपकार सुग्रीव ही कीन्हा राम मिलाय राजपद दीना तुम्हरो मंत्र विभीषण माना लंकेश्वर भय सब जग जाना जुग सहस्र जो जन पर भानु लील्यो ताहि मधुर पल जानु प्रभु मुद्रिका मेलि मुख माहि जलधि लांघि गए अचरज नाहि दुर्गम काज जगत के जेते सुगम अनुग्रह तुम्हरे तेते राम दुआरे तुम रखवारे होत न आज्ञा बिनु पैसारे सब सुख लहै तुम्हारी सरना तुम रक्षक काहू को डरना आपन तेज समारो आपै तीनों लोक हाकते कापै भूत पिशाच निकट नहीं आवै महावीर जब नाम सुनावै नासै रोग हरै सब पीरा जपत निरंतर हनुमत बीरा संकट ते हनुमान छुड़ावै मन क्रम वचन ध्यान जो लावै सब पर राम तपस्वी राजा जिनके काज सकल तुम साजा और मनोरथ जो कोई लावै सोई अमित जीवन फल पावै चारों जुग परताप तुम्हारा है प्रसिद्ध जगत उजियारा साधु संत के तुम रखवारे असुर निकंदन राम दुलारे अष्ट सिद्धि नो निधि के दाता असबर दीन जानकी माता राम रसायन तुम्हारे पासा सदा रहो रघुपति के दासा तुम्हारे भजन राम को पावै जन्म जन्म के दुख बिसरावै अंत काल रघुवर पुर जाई जहाँ जन्म हरि भक्त कहाई और देवता चित्तन धरई हनुमत से सर्व सुख करई संकट कटई मिटई सब पीरा जो सुमिरै हनुमत बल बीरा जय 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 हनुमान गोसाई कृपा करहु गुरुदेव की नाई जो सत बार पाठ कर कोई छूट ही बंदी महासुख होई जो यह पढ़ हनुमान चालीसा होय सिद्धि साखी गौरी सा तुलसीदास सदा हरि चेरा की जय नाथ हृदय महडेरा पवन तनय संकट हरन मंगल मूर्ति रूप राम लखन सीता सहित हृदय बसहु सुर भूप सियावर रामचंद्र की जय पवन सुत हनुमान की जय।
सच्चिदानन्दं वासुदेवं व्रजप्रियं धर्मसंस्थापकं वीरं कृष्णं
Jai Shri Krishna. With the blessings of Yogeshwar Krishna Ji and in the Sukshma presence of our Param Pujya Swami Govinda Dev Giriji Maharaj, we have assembled in the Zoom platform for the second part of Vivajan of 13th chapter, Kshetra Kshetrajna Vibhaga Yoga. Let's take the blessings of our Gurus. Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Devo Maheshwara, Guru Sakshat Param Brahma, Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. A warm welcome to all the sadhaks of level 4 who have joined us for the interpretation session of chapter 13, which deals with Kshetra and Kshetrajna, which means field and knower of the field, that is in short, the body and the soul. We all are really blessed to be associated with Gita Pariwar. It's time for prayer. Prayer is considered to be an integral part of our culture, and it is an expression of our devotion. And today, Chitra Sahaji from Kolkata, a homemaker, is going to recite prayer. Didi is a yoga trainer and music teacher. Didi is technical assistant in all levels and co-trainer in L1 and L2. She joined Gita Pariwar in February 2021. Let's invoke the blessings of Lord Krishna. Didi, please.
One second, Didi. She's joined. One.
Acha.
Didi, please. Okay.
जय
Yeah.
श्री कृष्ण
हाँ,
Jai Shri
Jai
Krishna.
Shri Krishna.
Yeah.
वसुदेव सुतन्देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णो वन्दे जगद्गुरुं कृष्णो वन्दे जगद्गुरुं जय श्री कृष्ण
Thank you, Didi, for that melodious prayer. Now it's time for Deepa Prajawalan. Shubham karoti kalyanam, arogyam dhana sampada, shatru buddhi vinashaya, Deepa Jyotir namostute. That means I bow down to the light of the lamp, which brings wellness, health, and prosperity and destroys enemies and bad thoughts. I bow down again and again to the light. May I request Bhakti Thakurji from New Jersey to do the honors. Didi is working in post office and her hobbies are cooking, embroidery, dress designing, etc. etc. Didi is Gita Vrati, Gita Vichakshana and Gita Vichakshana Avarohi. Didi is in Gita Parivar since 2020. Didi, please.
निषिद्धैरप्येभिर्लुलितमकरन्दो मधुकरैः करैरिन्दोरन्तश्छुरित इव सम्भिन्नमुकुलः विधत्तां सिद्धिन्नो नयनसुभगामस्य सदसः प्रकीर्णः पुष्पाणां हरिचरणयोरञ्जलिरयम् शरदिन्दुनिभां शुभ्रां शुभ्रवस्त्रैरलङ्कृतां कलहंसकृतावासां वरदां शारदां नुमः.
Thank you, Didi, for a devotional and beautiful Deepa Prajawalan. I would like to inform all the participants that you may ask questions once the session is over. Raise your hands only after the session is over, please. Another announcement is that, as you all know, new L1 batch is starting from tomorrow, and please motivate your relatives and friends to join Gita Parivar to learn to recite Gita flawlessly. Now, it's time for the most anticipated part of this session. Our speaker for the day is Vikas Vaidya ji from Pune. Vikas ji is a mechanical engineer and has done PGDBM also. He owns a small IT company. He is a multilinguistic with knowledge of Hindi, Marathi, English, Indonesian, Malaysian, and Spanish. He has been reciting all 18 chapters of Gita daily for the last 6 years. Bhaiya is a trainer of L1 to L4 and trainer's trainer of all levels. He is also involved in teaching and Vivechan of Vishnu Sahasranamam. Vikas ji also gives guidance to Gita Vratis to prepare for Shrangeri Peeth Gita exam. Bhaiya himself has received first prize at the hands of Param Pujya Jagat Guru Shankaracharya. Over to you, Vikas ji.
वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं परम पूज्य स्वामी जी के चरण कमलों में कोटि कोटि नमन. We are discussing Adhyay 13th, Kshetra Kshetrajna Vibhaga Yoga. Last time we concluded with an interesting slok. Adhyatma Jnana Nityatvam Tattva Jnanartha Darshanam Etaj Jnanamiti Proktam Ajnanai Yadadonyatha. So 20 virtues Paramatma has taught us that this is Jnana. Anything contrary to this is all Ajnana. Continue the discussion further. Slok number 12. ज्ञेयं यत्तत् प्रवक्ष्यामि यज्ञात्वा अमृतमश्नुते अनादिमत् परं ब्रह्म न सत्तन्नासदुच्यते. Niyam, something which is knowable, Niyam. Yat is which, Tata is that, Pravakshami, future tense, I shall now explain, I will now tell you. Yat is which again, Jnatva, after knowing this, Amrutam is nectar, we know. Ashnute is to taste, to eat, to drink. Anadi, beginningless. Matparam, subordinate to me. Brahma, the spirit. No, neither. Sat is Sat, cause. Tat, that. Asat is Asat, effect. Uchyate is said to be. Now Paramatma says, I shall now tell you, Arjuna, what ought to be known, knowing which the entity, the eternity or moksha is attained. So Paramatma is going to tell Arjuna now, and through Arjuna to us, something after knowing which eternity or moksha is attained. This is the beginningless Parabrahma, about which Paramatma is going to tell. It is neither to be Sat nor Asat. It is neither Sat nor Asat. That means it is neither existent nor non-existent. What exactly is this? We'll discuss. Now God is promising Arjuna that he will tell him what ought to be known. This means that all other things are not important to be known. What ought to be known is going to be told now by Paramatma. So remaining other things are not so important to be known. What is important is, it is only God who must be known. And after knowing God, everything else gets known automatically. Be it art, science, whatever it is. Knowing God, the knower attains eternity. The Parabrahma. He is neither Sat nor Asat. Parabrahma is neither Sat nor Asat. Means there is no duality in Paramatma, Sat or Asat. He is neither Sat nor Asat. Sat means absence of Asat, and Asat means absence of Sat. This is the only meaning we can take. But Parabrahma is above both. He is above Sat and Asat both. For example, as the sun, in case of sun, there is neither day or night, but all light. Do we ever say that there is night on the sun or there is darkness on the sun? We never use this word at all. So Parabrahma is neither Sat or Asat, like sun. Day and night are like two sides of the same coin. For one cannot exist without the other. We can only say that it is day in that place where there exists also the night sometime. When night is not there, to clarify that there is day is not necessary. If there is not going to be night, then what is the point in saying that there is a day? So this is a comparison. When we say there is a day, that means there is going to be a night also at the same place. So we can only say it that the day in that place, if the night falls at the same place. But if there is no night, then there is no day either. Isn't it? There is no night, then there is no day, because there is no need to take the day. Then there is perpetual light. Similarly, in case of Parabrahma, the word existence is not descriptive enough. Sri Krishna says Parabrahma is beyond the relative terms of existence and not existence. Like the sun has no relevance of day and night. Similarly, for Parabrahma, there is no relevance of existence or non-existence. He is beyond that. Parabrahma in its formless and attributeless aspect is the object of worship of Jnanis. Nirgun Nirakar of Paramatma is the object of meditation worship for Jnanis. In its personal form, like Sri Ram or Sri Krishna or Sri Shiva, Sri Ganesh, the Bhagavan, Sri Krishna or Sri Ram, it is the object of worship of bhaktas, devotees. Worshipping Nirgun Nirakar needs great amount of jnana. Normal bhaktas like us, normal devotees like us, we can worship the personal form of Paramatma. Now, residing within the body, it is called Paramatma. So, all these three are manifestations of the same Paramatma. Whether it is formless, attributeless aspect, whether it is personal form, or whether it is residing in the body in the form of Paramatma, are all the three manifestations of Paramatma only. In Adhyaya 14, Gunatraya Vibhag Yoga, Shri Krishna says, Brahmano hi pratisthaham. Brahmano hi pratisthaham. I am the basis of the formless Parabrahma. Thus, the formless Parabrahma and the personal form of God are both two aspects of supreme entity only. Both exist everywhere. Hence, they both can be called as all-pervading, all-occupying. Beyond the attainment of moksha, there is no other. What other thing remains then? When moksha is attained, what other thing remains then? There is no other amrut, or there is no other eternity when the moksha is attained. Brahma Jnana is the ultimate truth. And God is declaring this to Arjuna. This Jnana, imparting of Jnana, will continue in the next sloka also. Paramatma says about the description of this Parabrahma. What Parabrahma is? Paramatma describes this in details now. Sarvatah panipadan tat sarvato kshishiro mukham sarvatah shrutimaloke sarvamavratya tishtati. Sarvata, everywhere, in all directions. Pani is hand. Padam is the legs. Tata, that. Sarvata, everywhere. Akshi is the eyes. Shira is the heads. Mukham, face. Sarvata, everywhere. Shrutimat, having ears. Loke, in the words. Sarvam, everything. Avartya, covering. Tishtati is to exist. So Paramatma says, Sarvada panipadan tat sarvado kshishiro mukham sarvada shruti malloke sarva mavritya tishtati. Having hands and feet everywhere. Now this is about Paramatma. Having hands and feet everywhere with great eyes, minds and mouths everywhere, with great ears everywhere, he exists permeating all. This is the word-to-word meaning of this shloka. Sarvada panipadanta sarvada kshishirumukam sarvada shruti malloke sarvam avritya tishtati. Now having hands, mouths, eyes, ears everywhere means that all these functions, all these mouths or ears or eyes, all this function due to the process of omnipresent divinity. The power permeating all bits and parts of the universe. Now to some it may appear contradictory to the Shruti, which says that Parabrahma is conscious and actionless. So if it is actionless, why it has ears and eyes and everything? But Kathopadeshada says this thing beautifully. It says this visible universe in the form of visible objects exist and emerge out of the prana shakti, prana, energy, vibration of Parabrahma. As long as our mind is focused on the visible world, the real hidden power remains unknown to us. This emphasizes the omnipresence and omnipotence of the God. Without His grace, the supreme secret cannot be known. With our senses, we can see externally. To see Him, we need to see it internally. Often people argue that God cannot have hands, He cannot have feet, He cannot have eyes or ears or other body parts like human beings. He is not human, no? So why is he having all these parts like human beings? But Sri Krishna says that God has all these hands, feet, eyes, ears, everything God has. And to an innumerable extent, we should never fall into the trap of circumscribing God within our limited understanding. He can do the possible, He can do the impossible, and He can do the reverse of what is possible and what is impossible. Everything He can do. To say that all-pervading God cannot have hands and feet is placing a constraint upon God. We cannot put constraint upon God, that God cannot have all this. Now let us keep in mind that the God's limbs and senses are divine, while ours are material, given by Prakriti. Paramatma is beyond Prakriti, is divine. The difference between the material and transcendental is that while we are limited to one set of senses, God possesses unlimited hands, unlimited legs, unlimited eyes, and unlimited ears. While our senses exist in one place, God's senses are existing everywhere in the cosmos. Thus, the God sees everything that happens in the world and hears everything that is ever said. This is possible because just as He is all-pervading in creation, His eyes, ears are also universal and omnipresent, like His creation. So, Chandogya Upanishada, it says, Sarvam Khalvidam Brahma. Sarvam Khalvidam Brahma. Everywhere is Parabrahma. Hence, He accepts food offering made to Him anywhere in the universe. We offer prasadam to God at the same time in every corner of the cosmos. He accepts from everybody. He hears the prayers of His devotees everywhere they may be, wherever they are, His devotees. And He is the witness of all that occurs in these three worlds. If millions of devotees worship, pay reverences to Him at the same time, He has no problem accepting all the prayers at the same time from all of them. In God, who is everywhere, everything is in Him. This is like, in a pen, the pen with which we write, in pen we have ink, isn't it? Which script is not there in that pen then? Pen can write any script, no? When there is pen and ink, it can write any script. A man having knowledge of different scripts can write them with the same pen and same ink. In a lump of gold, which ornament is not present? A goldsmith cuts out the lump, he can create innumerable types of ornaments from that gold. Which idol is not there in the clay or in the stone? Everything is there. Similarly, in God, what is not there? The entire universe is born out of God, stays in Him, and in the end, merges into Him. When He is at the beginning and He is at the end, then who is there in the middle? Only He. Who else can be there in the middle? He is in the beginning, He is in the end. So in the end, in the middle also only He is there. As a man leading the mundane materialistic life beholds the universe everywhere. We are living in the materialistic world and we see the world from that point of view, that everything is material world. Similarly, a devotee, dedicated devotee, he beholds Lord pervading everywhere. We see the universe everywhere A devotee, a dedicated devotee, a jnani, he beholds Lord pervading everywhere. Not the Prakriti, but the Lord. Continue this further with Slok 14. Paramatma says, Sarvendriya gunabhasam sarvendriya vivarjitam asaktam sarvabhruchaiva nirgunam gunabhoktrusha. Wow, this is interesting now. This is interesting. Sarva. Sarva is of all. Indriya. Indriya is senses. Guna of the quality Satpurjatamo. Abhasam, the original Anasam, original source. Sarva is all. Indriya. Indriya is senses. We know that. Vivarjitam. Being without. Without. Asaktam. Without attachment. Sarva Brut. Maintainer of everyone in the cosmos, caretaker, sustainer. Cha is also Eva, definitely, certainly. Nirgunam, beyond three gunas of Satpurjotamo, Guna Bhaktru, master of gunas. So what does it all mean? After Paramatma said that Sarvada Pani Padantat Sarvada Okshishiromikam, Sarvada Shruti Malloke Sarva Mavritti Tishtati. Now Paramatma says, Sarvendriya Gunabhasam, Sarvendriya Vivarjitam, Asaktam Sura Bhruchaiva, Nirgunam Guna Bhaktrucha. Describing the Lord as formless and endowed with attributes in the earlier shloka, now in the next three shlokas, there is description of his singularity, his transcendental character, all pervasiveness and omnipotence. In this shloka, Paramatma says, though he perceives all sense objects, Shabda Sparsha Rupa Rasa Gandha, all sense objects, yet he is devoid of the senses. Oh my God. Earlier he said, Sarvada Pade Padantat Sarvadok Shishramikam. And now he says, he is devoid of the senses. He is unattached to anything. Asaktam Sarvabhruchaiva. He is unattached to anything. And yet, he is the sustainer of all. So in one sentence, there are two contradictions which we may feel as if this is contradictory. And yet he is the sustainer of all. When he is unattached, how can he be sustainer of all? And earlier shloka, Paramatma had said, Sarvada Pani Padanta Sarvada Kshishiro Mukham. Now here Paramatma says, Sarvendriya Gunabhasam Sarvendriya Vivarjitam. He is devoid of the senses. Further, although he is without attributes, yet he is the enjoyer of the three modes of Prakriti, material nature. Satvarjatamo. He is the enjoyer of three gunas. Now, having stated that God's senses are everywhere, Shri Krishna now states exactly opposite of that. First he said, Sarvendriya Gunabhasam, Sarvada Panipadanta, Sarvada Kshishiro Mukham, Sarvada Shruti Malloke, Sarva Mavritti Tishtati. And in this shloka, he is saying exactly the opposite of it, or what? He does not possess any senses, he says in this shloka. If we try to understand this through our limited intellect, mundane logic, we will find this contradictory. We will inquire probably, how can God have both infinite senses and also be without senses? How can he Sarvada Pani Padantat and then how can he have Sarvendriya Vivarjitam? How both things are possible? However, such limited mundane logic does not apply to God, does not apply to him, who is beyond the reach of intellect. He is beyond intellect. We have very limited intellect. God possesses infinite contradictory attributes at the same time. And that is the jnana we are trying to acquire. So Paramatma can have infinite contradiction in himself at the same time. Now what does it mean exactly? That he Sarvada Pani Padanta Sarvada Kshishiro Mukham Sarvada Shruti Malloke Sarva Mavritti Tishtati. He has senses everywhere, all that we have seen in earlier shloka. Now here, Sarvendriya Gunavasam, Sarvendriya Vivarjitam. He has no senses anywhere. He is devoid of senses. He is unattached to anything. He is still the sustainer of everything. He is without attributes, but he is still the enjoyer of three modes. What does it all mean? Let us see. Who needs the spectacles? The one whose eyesight is weak, he needs spectacles. God does not need spectacles. Who needs the walking stick? The one who is lame. God does not need the walking stick. God is devoid of mundane senses like ours, and hence it is correct to say that he does not have the senses. Sarvendriya vivarjitam means he is without material senses. The senses that we human beings have are material senses. Paramatma says when here Sarvendriya vivarjitam, that means he is without the material senses. However, he possesses the divine senses, which was that Sarvada Panipadantat. So in earlier shloka, Paramatma was talking about the divine senses, and here in this shloka, Paramatma is talking about the material senses. He doesn't have material senses, but he has the divine senses. He possesses the divine senses that are everywhere. Consequently, it is also correct to say that senses of God are in all the places. He is omnipresent. Sarvindriya Gunavasam means he manifests the functions of senses and grasps the sense objects. He manifests the function of senses of eyes, ears, everything. And then he grabs the Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa, Gandha, the sense objects. Upanishad says God does not possess material hands, material feet, or material eyes or ears. Yet he grasps, he walks, he sees, and he hears. Further, Sri Krishna states that he is the sustainer of the creation. He is the sustainer of creation, and yet detached from it. In his form as Lord Vishnu, God maintains the entire creation. He sits in the heart of living beings, notes their karmas, and gives them the results. Under Lord Vishnu's dominion, Brahma manipulates the laws of material science of the Prakriti to ensure that the universe functions stably and smoothly. Also, under Lord Vishnu's dominion, the celestial god arranged to provide the air, water, rain, and other elements that are necessary for our survival. When he is giving these basic needs, we call him, he is our caretaker, isn't it? Hence, God is the sustainer of all. Yet, he is complete in himself and is thus detached from everyone. The Vedas mention him as Atmaram, means one who rejoices in self and has no need of anything external. He is Atmaram. The Prakriti, the material energy, is obedient and compliant to the God. And it works for his pleasure by serving him. He is thus the enjoyer of the three gunas of Prakriti, the Sattva, Rajatamo, and at the same time, he is also Nirguna, beyond three gunas. Because these gunas are material, while Paramatma, God, is divine. Nirguna itself became Saguna through Yoga Maya. Because of his Yoga Maya, he made Nirguna to Saguna, Nirakar to Sakar. Nirguna exists in Saguna. Nirguna exists in Saguna and also exists without Saguna, without it. Thus it means that Nirguna exists in both, in presence and in the absence of Saguna. So Krishna exists in both, in Saguna and in Nirguna. The formless Sri Krishna exists in the inform Krishna. Now the inform Krishna does not exist anymore. Can we see Krishna anymore now? But the formless Krishna very much continues to exist. We worship. The formless Krishna exists very much, even now. He will continue to exist for all the time to come. That which exists sometimes, and not at all times, is the form. And that which exists eternally is the formless. In this Adhyaya, Kshetra Kshetra Vibhaga Yoga, we are discussing about the formless Paramatma and how to attain him. How to come out of I am body feeling and attain that formless Paramatma. The problem is created by our mind. We are happy in the presence of a form and saddened by the absence of that form. My mother, my father, my wife, my husband, my children, all the relations you create through your me and mine, when these forms exist, you are happy. And when they disintegrate, that is, their bodies die, we cry. Paramatma says, why? The form has become formless. Shri Krishna was in form 5,500 years back, he became formless. Similarly, all the bodies, sometimes they take form, sometimes they become formless. What is there to cry about? Next shloka, shloka number 15. Paramatma says, Vairandascha bhutanam acharai charame vacha sukshmatvat tadavidneyan durasthai chantike chatat. Vairandascha bhutanam acharai charame vacha. He exists outside and inside of all living beings. Those that are moving and non-moving. He is subtle and hence he is incomprehensible. He is so subtle that he is incomprehensible. But he is very, very far, but at the same time, he is very, very near also. Again contradiction. Again contradiction. He is very, very far and he is very, very near also. What does it all mean? The contents of this shloka are from Vedas, and as we know, Bhagavad-Gītā is an extract of Vedas and Upanishads. The Supreme Parabrahma does not walk, yet it walks. Vedas say. He is far, but he is also very near. Vedas says. He exists inside everything, but he is also outside everything. So the contents of this shloka are coming from Vedas. In Shlok 2 of this Adhyaya, what we read in the last session, Paramatma had said that to know God is the true knowledge. Kshetra kshetrajna yor jnana yatta jnanam matam mama. That is the jnan, that is my mat, that is my opinion. To know about kshetra and kshetrajna is the real knowledge. That is what Paramatma had opined in the second shloka. However, here he says that the supreme entity Parabrahma, Paramatma, is incomprehensible. This again seems to be a contradiction. But this means that the God is not knowable by senses, mind and intellect. The intellect is made from Prakriti, material nature, so it cannot reach the God who is divine. Again, the difference is because of material and divine. Material and divine. We are always confused, saying that we cannot see God. How can we see God? Our senses are given by the Prakriti, which are material, and the God is divine. The material cannot see the divine. However, if the God himself bestows his grace upon someone, then that fortunate soul can come to know him. But you need his grace. This means the scheme of Parabrahma for the universe is such that the external world can be seen and known with the mind and senses. External world can be seen with mind and senses, but not the subtle internal world. We cannot see our internal world with mind and senses. We can see outside world. Funny, no? The internal reality can be seen with subtle powers, which are to be acquired with spiritual discipline and hard, consistent efforts. Only then his animate and inanimate nature gets accessible by the devotees. He is as close as our breath. Our prana is existence, no? When we breathe in, prana comes in. When we breathe out, prana vayu goes out. Breathe in, breathe out. So he's as close to us as our prana, as our breathing. And how far he is? As we discussed last time also, sometime NASA has found the farthest star from Earth, which is 30 billion light years away from the Earth. So he is that far. At that place also he exists, 30 billion light years away from the Earth. And he is this here also. as close as our breath. Now in the 12th shloka, Paramatma had said about Neya, worth knowing. The 12th shloka, what we read last time was, rather today only, Neya tat pravakshami yajnatma amritamashtrute anadimat param brahma na sattanna saduchyate. Neyam. That means worth knowing. But in this shloka, now he says Adneya, cannot be known. Again contradiction. Worth knowing bhi hai or Adneya bhi hai. Which means that God is not known like the world. Again the same thing comes into picture. We try to look at God as we see the material world. We cannot see God in this fashion. As the world is known through senses, mind and intellect, God is not known through senses, mind and intellect. Senses, mind and intellect are the evolutes of the Prakriti, while the God is beyond Prakriti. The evolutes of Prakriti can't know even Prakriti completely. Our senses cannot gauge even Prakriti completely. Then how can they know the God who transcends the Prakriti? One has to accept the existence of God by faith in Him. As acceptance is done by the self itself, self, our swa, not by senses or not by organs, like mind, intellect, senses, etc. The self has its identity with the God. Therefore, the God is attained by acceptance, not by thinking or not by description. The self has never identified with the body and the world. The self has neither been nor will be separate from God. But when he identifies himself with the body, then he has to suffer the consequences of karma done by the body. But the self has neither been nor will be separate from God, because it is a fragment of God only. Continue further. In this discussion, I must say that the shlok number 22 is one of the most important shlokas. We'll discuss that in the end of the session today. Continue with shlok 16 now. Avivaktainja bhuteshu vibhaktamiva cha sthitam bhutavarchuta tadneyam grasishna pravavishnucha. Avivaktam. Again, contradiction may appear here. Avivaktam, without division. Bhuteshu, in all living entities, all living beings. Vibhaktam, divided. Sthitam, situated. Bhuta bhartru, sustainer of all living entities. Tata, that. Neyam, to be understood. Grasishnu, Grasishnu is to destroy, destroying. Prabhavishnu, to create, to develop. The rule of Brahmadeva. So, Avivaktañja bhuteshu vivaktimevcha sitam bhutavachyuta tajneyam grasishnu prabhavishnu. Paramatma says he is undivided and yet he seems to be distributed over all the beings. He is undivided, but he seems to be distributed all over beings. Again, contradiction appear. He who is the only object worth knowing, and he is the creator, the sustainer, and destroyer of all beings. Now, God's personality includes his various energies, his potencies. All manifest and unmanifest objects are but expansion of his energy, his potency only. Thus, we can say that he is all that exists. Accordingly, Śrīmad-Bhagavadgītā says the various aspects of creation, that is the time, the karma, the nature of individual living beings, and the material ingredients of the creation are all parts of the Supreme Lord Shri Krishna. Shri Krishna himself. There is nothing in existence apart from him. God may appear to be divided among the objects of his creation. Sarvasya chaham hridayandavishto. So he is existing in the hearts of everybody. So he is divided among all. But since he is all that exists, he remains undivided as well. For example, the space. Space may seem to be divided among the objects that it contains. Yet all the objects are in one single entity called space. which manifests at the beginning of creation. Again, the reflection of sun. Suppose you put some utensils filled with water on your terrace and the sun is shining, then in each utensil you see the reflection of sun. It appears to be divided. Suppose you put 100 utensils, then there are 100 suns in all the 100 utensils. But yet sun remains indivisible, isn't it? Similarly, just as the ocean throws up the waves and then absorbs them back into itself. Similarly, God creates the world, maintains it, and then absorbs it back into himself. Therefore, he may be equally seen as the creator, the maintainer, and the destroyer of everything of this cosmos. He who creates is God. He who is created is also God. He who sustains is God. He who is sustained is also God. He who destroys is God, and he who is destroyed is also God. Nothing other than God exists. Just as you cannot divide space, analogously, Parabrahma cannot be divided. With the erection of walls in the house we have walls. It may seem as if you have divided the space by erecting the walls in your house. But just think, is the space really divided or is it just a visual illusion? When you drill a nail in the wall, the space in the wall gives the space to the nail to come in, isn't it? So the space is still there. Even if you build the wall, the space continues to exist. Small story. One day, a teacher who used to take home tuitions for his students, he was teaching geography to his student at his home, their student's home. It was nearing lunchtime and the teacher was feeling very hungry and thought that he will quickly somehow finish the lesson and leave the place. Just at that time, the student's mother came with a dish of khichdi. Khichdi means that rice and lentil, that dish, for her child. And she inquired with the teacher whether he would also like to have the lunch of that khichdi. The teacher saw that plate of khichdi, big one. He said, there is no need. We both can share from this big dish. This is enough for both of us. Now, on that khichdi, there was a big glob of ghee, pure ghee, on the khichdi. And the teacher, eyeing it longingly, the hungry teacher had a brainwave. What brainwave? With it, he traced out a line on the khichdi to demonstrate the boundaries. And he told that student, this is India and that's Pakistan. This is my share, this is your share. Your share is Pakistan, my share is India. And saying this, he marred that entire portion of pure ghee on his side. And the poor student did not get any portion of ghee on his khichdi, on his part of the khichdi. Now, children are not foolish. The child swiftly wiped out the line. And angrily, the teacher asked, what's going on? Why are you doing this? The child answered, the war has broken out between India and Pakistan. Saying this, he shifted all the ghee on his side of the plate. Now, would you say where these boundaries, the boundaries drawn by the teacher were real? Similarly, the boundaries that we create are not real. They are unreal. We cannot divide Parabrahma by boundaries. So those of you who have been to Germany, particularly to Berlin, Germany used to be known as East Germany and West Germany. And in Berlin, there was a dividing wall. With a wall dividing these two territories, East Germany and West Germany. Then when the Berlin Wall was broken, I think in 1989 or so, it was declared that divided Germany had now become unified. Now, had there actually been any division, or was it just a political partition? You erect a wall and space is divided. The division was only in the mind, not in reality. So, Parabrahma like this cannot be divided in short. So, let us proceed further. Paramatma says, Jyotishamapi tajyotis tamasah paramuchyate jnanai jneyai jnanagamyam hridhi sarvasya vishtitam. Jyotisham. It is the thing with astrology, Jyotish. Jyotisham means the illuminous bodies, objects. Tata, that. Jyoti, the source of light. Tamasa, tamas we know, darkness. Param, param is supreme, beyond. Uchyate is said. Jnanam, jnanam is jnan, knowledge. Jneyam, something which is to be known is jneyam. Jnanagamyam, which is to be understood by knowledge, to be approached by knowledge, is jnanagamyam. Hridhi, hridhi is in the heart. Sarvasya, of everyone. Vishtitam is situated. So Paramatma says, Jyotisham apita jyotis tamasah paramuchyate jnanai jnei jnanagamyam hridhi sarvasya vishtitam. In earlier shlok, the Lord had said that he who is worth knowing is creator, sustainer, and destroyer of the entire universe. In this shlok now, Lord Shri Krishna is explaining that he is the light of all lights. Jyotisham apita jyotis. He is the source of all lights, including the light of sun. The sun gets its light from Parabrahma. No darkness touches Parabrahma, no darkness touches him. He is the knowledge and the knowable, and also the object of knowledge. Jnana jneye jnanagamyam. He resides in the hearts of all beings. This sarvasya vishtitam. He resides in the hearts of all people. So the only knowable reality in this universe is the Parabrahma. He is the real light. Every object lights up due to his light. Even the sun shines due to his light. He is beyond all darkness. The only means to know him is through Brahmadhyan, which is a secret knowledge, and only the God-realized Guru can impart that knowledge to us. God is the source of all lights, knowledge. Light means knowledge. Soul is the light of God in all beings. Our soul is also the light of God. Paramatma says, he is there in the hearts of all in the form of this soul, which is his light. Soul lights up intellect. See, the soul gets light from God, and the soul lights up our intellect. The intellect lights up our mind, and the mind lights up our senses, and then the senses light up the sense objects, Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa, Gandha. So the theme of last 6 shlokas from 12 to 17, what we have read, Nahi etat pravakshami yajnatma vrtamastute anadimat param brahman sattannasaduchyate sarvata panipadantat sarvatokshisharo mukham sarvata shrutimaloke sarvamavriti tishtati sarvendriya gunabhasam sarvendriya virjitam asaktam sarvrichaiva nirgunam gunaprutija. Up to this shloka, Jyotisham api jyotis tamasah paramuchyate jnane jneye jnanagamyam this sarvasya vishtitam. The theme of all these last 6 shlokas is that the only reality is God. He is the manifest, he is the unmanifest, the moving, the non-moving, the sentient, the insentient, the indivisible, looking divided. He is only knowable reality. He is the only, rather. He is the only knowable reality. God is like an ice pitcher inside a cold ocean, which means that the water inside the pitcher is water, of course. The pitcher is water, of course. And outside the pitcher is water again. Ice being the water. The forms are only his variations. Everything is water. Everything is Parabrahma. The word Jnanagamyam is important here. Jnanagamyam. God can be known by spiritual realization, not by senses, by intellect, by mind. Only by spiritual realization, not by actions or by objects. There is no other method besides spiritual realization to know the God. A man may know the God by any of spiritual disciplines like say, Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Dhyana Yoga, all that. In fact, he will be known only by spiritual realization. These yogas may help you to know him, but spiritual realization will be the only means to know him. If he is known by faith, belief, devotion, and God's grace, etc., then also he is known by spiritual realization only. So these yogas, Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Dhyana Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, they all lead us to spiritual realization, which is a mean to know the God. The reason is that knowing is done by knowledge. And this is all knowledge. Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Dhyana Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, or our faith, our belief, our devotion is all knowledge. So it is only through knowledge that the knowable, the only knowable can be known. And the only knowable is the God. So this proper knowledge helps us to know the knowable, that is the God. Here the term Jnana Gamyam also means that he is attained by 20 virtues. 20 virtues which we have studied in this shloka, right from Amanitvam, Vadambitvam, Ahimsa, Kshanti, Rajavam, Acharyopasanam, Shaucham, Sthairyam, Atma Vinigraha, Indriyardheshu, Vairagyam, Anahankara, Evacha, Janma, Mrityujara, Vyadi, Dukkha, Dosharu, Darshanam. Asaktiran Vishwanga, Putradara, Grahadisho, Nityanche Samvichittatvam, Ishtanishto, Papatishu. Maichananya Yogena, Bhaktar Vicharani, Vivekta Desha Saivitva, Maradirijana Sausadi. And Adhyatma Jnana Nityatvam, Tattva Jnanartha Darshanam, Etash Jnanamiti Proktam, Adnyanai Yadatonyata. So these 20 virtues Paramatma had explained from slok number 7 to 11. So the term Jnanagamyam here, what is mentioned in this slok, it also means that he is attained by these 20 virtues. If we adopt these 20 virtues in our day-to-day life, we can know him, we can attain him. So this is the way we can attain Paramatma. God is revealing one by one how to attain Paramatma. Now let us go to further, slok number 18. Iti kshetran tatha jnanai neyai choktam samasatah madbhakta etad vidnyayo madbhavayo papadyate. Now this is concluding. Paramatma is concluding this topic of kshetra and kshetrajna. Iti. Iti is thus. Kshetram. Kshetram is the kshetra, the body, the field of activities, the field of karma. Jnanam. Jnanam is the knowledge. We know Jnanam. Jnayam, the knowable. Uktam. Uktam is said, described. Samasataha, in brief. In brief. Mad Bhakta, my devotees. Etat, all this. Vidnyaya, after understanding. Mad Bhavaya, my nature. Upapadyate is to attain. So having given the brief description of Kshetra, that is body, knowledge, the knowable, that is which is worth knowing, from slok 1 to slok 17 of this adhyay, now Lord concludes the topic in this shloka by pointing out the reward of knowing this topic. What reward we get if we know and we practice this knowledge of Kshetra and Kshetrajna. Paramatma says, thus the Kshetra, that means the body, the knowledge, the Jnana, and the object of knowledge. What is the object of knowledge? Paramatma, the God. The knowable have been briefly described. Knowing this in the reality, my devotees reach me. So this is the way to reach Paramatma, getting the knowledge of Kshetra, Kshetrajna, Jnana, and Paramatma. Shri Krishna now concludes his description of the field and the object of knowledge by mentioning the fruits of knowing this topic. However, once again, he deems it fit to bring in devotion and says that only the bhaktas, that means devotees, can truly understand this knowledge. Any Tom, Dick and Harry cannot. Only his devotees can understand the knowledge that he has imparted in this adhyay. Many people read 13th adhyay. Does everyone understand? No. Only his devotees can understand the hidden message in these shlokas of Bhagavad-Gītā, 13th adhyay particularly. Those who practice karma, jnana, yoga, etc., but are still devoid of bhakti, cannot truly understand the importance of Bhagavad-Gītā also. Merely reading Bhagavad-Gītā without bhakti is of no use. It gives you very little benefit. If you read Bhagavad Gita with devotion, with bhakti, then you get the real benefit. Then you can get it into your day-to-day life. People who read Bhagavad Gita, they themselves may think that yes, they have understood everything and now they are the devotees of Paramatma. But unless you have that bhakti in you, bhakti is the juice, bhakti ras. Rest, without bhakti, everything is dry. Paramatma doesn't like dry things. He likes it with the juice, with the bhakti rasa. So bhakti is essential ingredient of all paths, whether it is karma yoga, jnana yoga, or dhyana yoga, or whatever yoga. Bhakti is an essential ingredient of all the yogas, all the paths leading to the God, or leading to the knowledge of God, should I say. It is said that the work which is done in devotion to God is the real karma. Whatever karma we do for devotion to the God is the real karma. Rest all are, okay, sakam karmas. And the knowledge which increases our love for God is the real knowledge. So we want to know what is real karma. Real karma is the one which is done in devotion to the God. And what is real knowledge? The knowledge that increases our love for the God. Devotion only not only helps us to know the God, it also makes us devotees God-like. And hence Shri Krishna states that the devotees attain his nature, Madbhava. Because worshipping day in and day out the God, the devotees also start becoming God-like. That's why Shri Krishna has used the word Madbhava. They attain Madbhava. They attain my nature. This has been repeatedly emphasized in Vedic scriptures also, in Vedas also. The Vedas state that bhakti alone can lead us to God. Bhakti alone can make us see the God. Bhakti alone can bring us in the presence of God. God is under the control of bhakti. That is the importance of bhakti. God is under the control of bhakti, hence do the bhakti exclusively. That is the message of Vedas. Upanishads, they say, those who engage in bhakti towards the Supreme Divine, giving up all material desires, they escape the cycle of life and death. Those who have unflinching bhakti towards the God and identical bhakti towards Guru in the hearts of such saintly persons, by the grace of God, the importance of Vedic scriptures get automatically revealed. But bhakti has to be there. In Bhagavatam, Shri Krishna says, Uddhava, I am not attained by Ashtanga Yoga or by study of Sankhya Yoga, cultivation of spiritual knowledge, austerities or renunciation. It is only by bhakti that I am won over. So bhakti is the ultimate. Bhakti is the ultimate, Paramatma says. In Bhagavad Gita also, Shri Krishna has repeatedly said this. In 8th Adhyay, Paramatma says, Purushasya parah partha bhaktya labhyastananya yasyantastani bhutani yena sarvamidam tatam. And the famous sloka of 11th Adhyay, Bhaktya tvanannaya shakya ahamevam vidorjuna jnatun drashtvaincha tattvena praveshtvaincha parantapa. Only by loving devotion does one know the God. This is also said in 18th Adhyay, 55th sloka also. That only by loving devotion does one know the who am I, who is God, the ultimate truth. Then having come to know me, my devotees enter into my full consciousness. In Ramayana, it is said, the Supreme Lord Ram can only be attained through love. Let this truth be known to all who care to know the truth. That Sri Ram can only be attained through love and bhakti. Even Guru Granth Sahib, the Grantha of Sikhism, it says, there is no personality like God. There is no path equal to the path of devotion. There is no human equal to the Guru. And there is no scripture that can compare with Bhagavad-Gītā. In Punjabi, the Guru Granth Sahib says, Gita Sama Nahi Grantha. Ultimately, Sikhism also has come from Sanatana Dharma only, no? So they praise Gita. In many chapters of Guru Granth Sahib, Gita has been mentioned. Okay, let us continue with slok number 19 now. Further, Paramatma says, Prakriti Purushanchaiva Vidyanadi Ubhavapi Vikaranshcha Gunashchaiva Vidya Prakriti Sambhavan. Vidya Prakriti Sambhavan. Prakriti is the nature, the material world. Purusham, the Purush. Eve is certainly, definitely. Vidhi is, you should know, you must know. Anadi, without beginning. Anadi. Ubhav, both. Prakriti and Purush, both. Vikaran, changes, modifications, transformations is all vikar. Gunan, three gunas of nature, Sat, Rajatamo. Vidhi, again we know, Prakriti is the nature, Sambhavam is produced of. So Paramatma says in this shloka, slok number 19, see, Shri Krishna stated in this adhyaya by describing in brief about the Kshetra and Kshetrajna. In the first and second shloka, we understood what Shri Krishna has said about Kshetra and Kshetrajna. The beginning of adhyaya was made with this. Idam shariram kaunseya kshetra vitya vidiyate etadyo vetitam praho kshetrajna etadvida. Kshetrajna chapimam vidhi. This is important. Kshetrajna chapimam vidhi sarva kshetreshu bharata kshetra kshetrajnayor jnanai yatta jnanam matam mama. So Sri Krishna has explained, had described in brief about Kshetra and Kshetrajna in Shlok 1 and 2 of this Adhyaya. Now the Lord is reverting to the same topic and describe this in details under the name of Prakriti, which is the Kshetra, matter, and Purush, that is the spirit, that is the Kshetrajna. So earlier we were discussing about Kshetra is body, Kshetrajna is the soul. Now the platform has changed. Now Kshetra is the Prakriti, the material world, and Purush is the soul, the spirit. So Paramatma says in this shloka, shlok number 19, Prakriti Purushanchaiva Vidyanadi Ubhavapi Vikaranshcha Gunashchaiva Vidya Prakriti Sambhavan. Know that, Arjuna, know that the Prakriti, that means the material nature, and Purush, the individual soul, are both beginningless. Also know that all changes, vikar, that means transformations of the body, and three modes of Prakriti are born out of Prakriti only. So all the vikars in the body, which we have read in this Adhyaya earlier, 7 vikars, Ichha, Dvesha, Sukha, Dukkham, Sangada, Chetana, Dhati, those 7 vikars and 3 modes, Sat, Prajatamo, are born out of Prakriti. So the material nature is called Maya, Maya Paramatma. As an energy of God, it has existed ever since the God has existed. Because Prakriti is Paramatma's energy only, his potency only. So it has existed since the God existed. And God is Anadi. In other words, Prakriti is also eternal, Anadi. The soul is eternal and it is called Purush here. Soul is called Purush here, the living entity. While the God himself is called Param Purush. Ours is soul, Purush. Paramatma is Param Purush, the supreme living entity. The soul is also an expansion of the energy of God. Our soul is also a fragment of God. So it is also an expansion of the energy of the God. Vedas say that the soul is fragment of Jiva Shakti, soul energy of the God. While the material energy is the insentient energy, the Jiva Shakti is the sentient energy. It is divine and intransmutable. That means that is something which cannot be changed. It remains unchanged through different lifetimes. This soul, this energy, soul energy, remains intransmutable. That means it remains without change throughout all the different lifetimes. The different stages of each lifetime through which this soul goes through, the 6 stages through which the body passes. Every body passes in every life through these 6 stages. Which are those? Asti. Asti is coming into existence in the womb of the mother. That is Asti. Jayate is taking the birth. Vardhate is the growth. Growth is ubharti jindagi, bada hone laga hai abhi. Viparinamate, the procreation, process of creation of new babies, or what we call prajanan. Apakshete, shrinkage, reduction in the body, reduction in the importance, that means jindagi ki dhalan. And last stage is vinashanti, death. So these are the 6 stages. These are brought about in the body by Prakriti or by the Maya of Paramatma. It creates 3 modes of nature also, Prakriti, Sattva, Rajatamo, and there are countless varieties and combinations. But primarily, there are only these 3 modes of nature, Sattva, Rajatamo. There is no 4th nature. It can have various combinations of Sattva, Rajatamo, but in principle, these are the only 3 basic modes of nature. This Trigunamayi, that means Sattva, Rajatamo, Prakriti, Shri Krishna says, know that this Prakriti is also beginningless and endless. It is eternal. It is just that sometimes the elements manifest as the form, they become formless, and then again manifest as form. Thus this cycle continues eternally. God is eternal, Prakriti is eternal. So both eternal, they keep playing this game, creating form, again converting it to no form, and again creating form. In second adhyaya, we know Avyaktadini Bhutani Vyakta Madhyani Bharata Avyakta Nidhananyeva Tatra Ka Paridevana. Only the form is changing. Unmanifested has become manifested, manifested has become unmanifested. The forms are changing. So why to complain about it? What's more, the experiencer of Prakriti, that means the Kshetrajna, is also beginningless. The game therefore continues eternally because both are eternal entities, God and Prakriti both. So this game continues eternally. That means the clay remains at all times, just the form of toys made from it keep on changing. The clay exists externally, and the enjoyer of the toys and the experiencer of the toys too will continue to exist eternally. Shri Krishna says, know that the entire phenomenal world emanates from the Prakriti. This includes all the objects of 5 senses, our body, mind, intellect. All that you perceive through your 5 senses, know them to emerge from Prakriti. And what to say about the amazing display of Prakriti? It's like a kaleidoscope, vibrant diversity of these objects of the world. Everyone watches at the same time differently. God is amazing, and so is his creation, the Prakriti, the Maya. See the beauty. A tiny seed sowed in the ground transforms into a gigantic tree. Look at the towering proportions of the peepal tree or the banyan tree. The seed is so small. And then you have fantastic, mind-boggling complexity of human body also, consisting of billions of nerves. And you know how many cells we have in our body? Over 7 trillion. 7 trillion cells in our body. And all this has come from where? From a microscopic, very, very tiny ovum and a microscopic, very, very tiny sperm. Ovum and sperm come together and this gigantic body of 7 trillion cells, billions of nerves get created. Magic. Indeed, what an incredible play of Prakriti. Unbelievable, but true, because we practically see it happening. And we have ourselves created some of these phenomenal bodies in ourselves in our life, isn't it? So this is the game of Prakriti, Paramatma says. Everything emanates from Prakriti. Continue with slok number 20. This is interesting now. Karyakarana kartrutve eto prakriti ruchyate purushas sukha dukkhanam bhoktrutve hetu ruchyate. Karyakarana kartrutve eto prakriti ruchyate purushas sukha dukkhanam bhoktrutve hetu ruchyate. Paramatma says karya. Karya means the effect, the action, the work. Karan. Karan is the sadhan, the cause. Means kartrutve, the matter of creation. Hetu. Hetu is the instrument. Prakriti. Prakriti is the nature. Uchyate. Uchyate is said to be Purush, the living entity. Mool Purush, Hiranyagarbha. Sukha, of happiness. Dukkham, of distress. Bhoktrutve. Bhoktrutve is to enjoy, enjoyment. Hetu. Hetu is the instrument. Uchyate is said to be. So Paramatma says, in the matter of creation, the material energy, that means the Prakriti, the nature, is responsible for the cause and effect. The creation of body is the cause and effect of Prakriti only. In the matter of experiencing the happiness and distress, the individual soul is declared responsible. Creation is by Prakriti and enjoyer is Purush. The nature, under the direction of Brahmadeva, the creator of Srishti, creates the myriad, countless elements and forms of life that compose the creation. Brahmadeva makes a master plan. He makes a master plan and all the material energy, the Prakriti, executes it. Brahmadeva's master plan. The Vedas state that there are 84 lakh yonis, 8.4 million species of life, yonis, in this material world. All these forms are transformations of the material energy. Hence, the material nature is responsible for all the cause and effects in the world. 84 lakh yonis, cause and effect. Prakriti is responsible for all the yonis. The soul gets the body, the field of activity. And according, how does it get? It gets it according to its past karmas, its karmas balance sheet. And it identifies itself with the body, mind and intellect. Thus, it seeks the pleasure of body senses. When the soul starts identifying itself with body, mind and intellect, it seeks pleasure of the bodily senses. When the senses come in contact with the sense objects, eyes they see, ears they hear, nose it smells, tongue that speaks or eats, Shabda Sparsha Rupa Sagandha. When the senses come in contact with the sense objects, it enjoys the pleasurable sensation. Since the soul is identifying itself with the mind, it starts enjoying the pleasure of pleasurable sensation. In this way, the soul perceives the sensation of both pleasure as well as pain through the medium of senses, mind and intellect. This can be compared with the dream state. In Ramayana, there is a chopai. Ehi vidhi jaga ashrita rahai jadapi asatya teta dukha ahai. Next line is Jauna sapanena sira katai hoi binu jagena na duri dukha hoi. What is the meaning? The world is sustained by God. It creates an illusion which, although unreal, gives misery to the soul. This is just like if someone's head gets cut in the dream, sira katai koi jauna sapanena, then the misery will continue until the person wakes up and stops dreaming. Kinu jagena na duri dukha hi. So our actual life is also like that dream only. In this dream state of identifying with the body, when the soul identifies with the body, the soul experiences the pleasure and pain based on its own past and present karmas. As a result, it is said to be responsible for both kinds of experiences. Because your karmas you are paying. either by enjoying the pleasure or by paying through the pain. Remember that you cannot prevent the occurrence of pleasurable or painful events in your life. People follow all the requirements stipulated in the dharma or scriptures. How to enter the temple, remove the shoes, wash the hands and feet, stand there in the line, in the queue, follow everything that the priest asked them to do in the temple, chant the mantras, stotras, everything. But yet, unwanted, unpleasant events do occur in their lives also. Yet, the dear ones die, isn't it? Is it that people who go to temple every day, their relatives don't die? They also die. And then they blame the God. There is no God. I am going to temple every day, chanting this stotra, that stotra, and why so and so of mine has died then? And that too, after all, I did all the God wanted me to do. They exclaim that in despair. Why has God done this to me? Why me? This story is true for all of us. People act as per their prakriti. Prakriti means their nature. If we are not enlightened, we'll act in this way. We'll blame the God. Enlightened people don't blame the God for anything. They know that their past karmas they are paying. As per the dominant gunas of sattva, rajo, tamo, we are paying this. And what is prakriti finally? It is the nature. Prakriti is the nature. And Shri Krishna says, this prakriti is beginningless and eternal. Now, when prakriti is beginningless and eternal, so do we dance to the terms of, to the tunes of this prakriti, eternal prakriti forever? Or should try to come out of the clutches of prakriti, that means the clutches of the sattva, rajatamo, and become gunatit? Because Paramatma had put a condition that unless you become gunatit, you cannot get moksha. Every guna puts you under the bondage. Even sattva guna puts you under bondage. If you want to get bondage free, attain moksha, then you have to become gunatit. No bondage. Okay, let us continue this discussion with slok number 21 now. Paramatma says further in slok 21, Purusha prakristho hi bhungte prakritijan gunan karanang gunasangosya sadasadyo nijanmasu. Interesting. Paramatma says, after Karyagana Kartutve, now this slok Paramatma says, Purush is the Mul Purush, Hiranyagarbha. Prakritisya, being situated in the material world. Prakritisya. Bhungte is to enjoy. Bhugna. Prakritijan, produced of Prakriti, produced of material world, material nature. Guna, the three modes of Prakriti, Sattva, Rajo, Tamo, Karanam. Karanam is the cause. Guna Sangha. Sangha is association. Association with three modes of Prakriti is Guna Sangha. Asya. Asya means of that Purush, that living entity. Sat, Asat, good and bad. Yoni, the species of life, which 84 lakh yonis are there. Janmasu is to take birth. So Paramatma says, Purusha praktisto hi bhungte prakritijan gunan karanam guna sangosya sadasadyoni janmasu. The Purush, who is rooted in the Prakriti, he experiences the effects of Prakriti caused pain and pleasure. How Prakriti causes pain and pleasure, that we saw in the earlier shloka. It is due to Purush attachment to these effects of Prakriti that the Purush takes birth in pure and impure bodies. In fact, the soul is all pure. It is not impure. Here we have to carefully distinguish between the soul and the being. Being is due to the presence of soul in the body. We are existing because of presence of soul in our body. Being exists only because soul is in it. So no life is possible without the soul. All consciousness and awareness of the being is due to the presence of soul in the being. It is in fact the being, the unenlightened. The being is unenlightened, isn't it? Who experiences the gunas of Prakriti and renders himself liable for higher or lower birth. The soul being in the body of a being, therefore, is always there, whether the birth of the being is higher or lower. If you do Papa Karma, you get lower birth. If you get Punya Karma, you get higher birth. But that poor soul accompanies you wherever, in all the yonis, all the births, wherever you are going. You are doing the karmas, and the sufferings are to be done by the soul. Soul has to suffer by entering into a lowly body. We do Papa Karma, the soul has to enter into a body of, say, a donkey or a dog. He has to suffer because of our karmas. Soul is all pure. But our karmas, we punish the soul unnecessarily by taking it with us in the lower species as well. Why not take it higher species? Why not unite him with the Paramatma of which he is a fragment? And for that only the life has been given to us. To reunite the soul and the super soul, that means the Paramatma. That is the purpose of life. In the earlier shloka, Shri Krishna explained that the Purush, that means soul, is responsible for the experience of pleasure and pain. Now he explains how this is so. Considering the body to be the self, the soul energizes it into activities that is directed at enjoying the body pleasures. Since the body is made of Maya, it seeks to enjoy the material energy under Maya. Maya and material energy are same, no? That is made of three gunas of Prakriti, Sattva, Rajo, Tamo. So the body gets attracted to Sattva, Rajo, Tamo. And due to the ego, the soul identifies itself with the doer, with the being, and the enjoyer of the body. The body, mind, and intellect perform all the activities, but the soul is held responsible for them. Poor soul. Just like a driver, you know. In case of accident, the driver is held responsible, not the steering wheel or the brake. Similarly, the senses, mind, and intellect are energized by the soul and they work under the dominion, soul's dominion. Hence, soul accumulates the karmas of all activities performed by the body because he has identified himself with the body. So suffer it now. This inventory of karmas accumulated from innumerable past lives that we have lived causes its repeated birth in either superior or inferior wombs. Also our kamanas, our desires, like I will attain such and such thing in my life, and we die with this kamana in our life. I will build a big house, I will buy 10 cars or whatever it is. I will become very famous. I am superior to all others. I will show them how low they are as compared to me, so on and so forth. These desires, when we pamper such desires in our mind, such desires arise in the mind, and the soul considers these desires as his desires. And then inevitably, it has to take repeated births for the fulfillment of these desires. Isn't it quite risky to carry such thoughts, to carry such desires, if they become a cause entrapping us, trapping us in the cycle of birth and death? Isn't it? So what can be the reasons for dispute between our loved ones and us? How can we get rid of them? How can we get rid of them? There is always a fight. I am superior, he is inferior. I am superior, he is inferior. And we want to prove our supremacy over others. But these kamanas lead us to take birth again. Small story. A teacher was teaching his students in a class. When the two of the students started quarreling with each other. Seeing them quarrel, the teacher asked, "Hey, what is the matter? Why are you fighting? Why are the two fighting with each other?" "Sir, He's just not listening to me, one student said. He's adamantly stuck to his own point. He's not listening to my point at all. The second one said, sir, why should I listen to him? What he is saying is all wrong. So what is the use of listening to him when he is saying wrong? And then both of them started fighting again. To reconcile, the teacher called them, both of them. Both the students went and stood near the teacher desk, each standing on opposite side of the desk. The teacher took out a ball from the desk drawer and placed it on the center of the desk. Then he said to both the students, look at the ball and tell me what color it is. It is a white ball, sir, the first student said. Who is standing on this side of the desk? He said, it is white ball, sir. The student staying on this side of the desk, he said, no, sir, it is black. Both had entirely different answers from each other. One says black, one says white. But both were firm on their own point. He said, no, this is white only. He said, no, this is black only. Again, there was an argument between them. The teacher calmed them down, both of them, and asked them to change their places. You now stand here and you now stand here. So they exchanged their places. Then teacher asked, now look at the ball, what color it is? The teacher repeated the same question again. This time also the answers of both of them were different. But this time they themselves were surprised by their own answers. The one who was earlier saying white, now he started saying black. And the one who was saying black, he has started saying white now. Now the first one said, sir, the ball is black. And the second one said, this ball is white. Then the teacher explained to them, the ball is made of two colors. It looks white from one side and looks black when viewed from the other. Both your answers are correct. The only difference is in your view. From where you are looking at this ball, you see it as such. Life is also like that. In life also, the attitude or perception of looking at a thing, situation or problem can be different. It is not necessary that someone whose opinion differs from yours is all wrong. It is just a different point of view. In such a situation, instead of getting into an argument, we can try to understand the other's point of view. Only then we'll be able to understand someone's opinion better and also be able to explain ours better. Both the students understood what the teacher was trying to explain, forgot their quarrel, and then they reconciled. Circumstances may be different in life. People's attitude towards those situations can be different, are different. We see that. We often give our comments without knowing the circumstances and get stuck on our point of view. Once I have taken a stand, I will stick to it. Come what may. This is what we do normally. In such a situation, the situation of dispute or argument is created, which eventually becomes the reason of spoiling the relationship. Therefore, before passing our comments on any matter, if we get good knowledge about the situation or the matter, and in case of difference of opinion, if we try to understand the other's point of view, then the disputes of our life will turn into a better dialogue. There may be difference of opinion, but there should no difference of hearts. Matabhed are allowed, not manabhed. When I change myself, my perception of the world will change accordingly. The glasses that I look through, if they are yellow, the world will look yellow to me. If they are red, the world will look red to me. If my heart is pure, then the world will also look pure to me. So to carry a desire that I will straighten this fellow, I will make him accept my point of view, can become a cause of rebirth. You have to take rebirth to again prove your point to that fellow. Therefore, leave the things and proceed. Don't take it to heart. Don't allow your soul to take it as his wish, his desire, that you want to prove your supremacy over other people. That desire may take you to the cycle of rebirth again. Don't carry the burden as you may have to carry it to the next life also. So don't carry the burden of any desires. Desire can cause rebirth, does cause rebirth. Okay, let us go to the next slok, which will be the last of the session. Very interesting slok. Slok number 22. Upadrashtanamanta cha bharta bhokta maheshwarah paramatmeti chapyukto dehesmin purushah parah. Very interesting. Paramatma says Upadrashta. What is Upadrashta? Upadrashta is the observer, witness, overseer. Anumanta. Anumanta is one who gives anumati. That means who gives permission, the permitter. Bharta considers himself to the master because he takes care. Bharta is one who takes care. Bhokta, one who is enjoying, who enjoys. Maheshwara, the Supreme Lord. Paramatma is Paramatma. Ukta, Ukta is said. Dehe, Dehe in the body. Asmin, Asmin is this. Purusha, enjoy the experience. Kshetradnya, that means Para is transcendental. So Paramatma says, within the body also resides the Supreme Lord. He is said to be Upadrashta, witness, Anumanta, permitter, supporter, transcendental enjoyer, the ultimate controller, and the Paramatma, the super soul in our body, super soul in our body. Shri Krishna has explained the status of individual soul within the body. Now in this shloka, he explains the position of Paramatma and his different roles in the body. The same Paramatma Tattva plays different roles in the body. How does it play? That we'll understand. Very interesting. Shri Krishna previously mentioned the Paramatma in shlok in second shloka, saying that Kshetrajna chapamam vidhi sarva kshetreshu bharata. When he stated that the individual soul is the knower of individual body. Our soul is knower of our body. But the Supreme Soul, Paramatma, is the knower of all infinite bodies. Kshetrajna chapamam vidhi sarva kshetreshu bharata. He knows all kshetras, he knows all bodies, he knows all fields in the universe. The Supreme Soul, who is located within everyone, also manifests in the personal form as Lord Vishnu. Upanishads explain this wonderfully well. It says, two birds are seated in the nest. Nest is our heart. In the nest of in the nest of tree is our body. So this body is the tree, heart is the nest in which two birds are sitting of the living form. They are soul, Jivatma and Paramatma. So two birds are sitting in our heart, Jivatma and Paramatma. The Jivatma has misunderstood himself as the body and has its back towards the Paramatma. Both are sitting in the same heart, but the Jivatma is having its back to the Paramatma and he considers body as he. And he is busy enjoying the fruits of the tree, that means the body. When the results of karmas, what is the fruits of body? The karma phalas. The results of karmas it receives while residing in the body is the fruits of that body, of that tree. When a sweet fruit comes, that means when he gets a favorable response, favorable karma phala, it becomes happy, that Jivatma. When a bitter fruit comes, it becomes sad. The Paramatma is a friend of Jivatma, but he does not interfere. He simply sits and watches. If the Jivatma can only turn around to Paramatma, all its miseries will come to an end. But Jivatma is only looking at the body. He is having his back towards Paramatma. And Jivatma has been bestowed with the free will, the freedom to turn away or to turn towards the God. By the improper use of that free will, the Jivatma put itself in the bondage. Because he keeps looking at the body only, not at Paramatma. By learning its proper usage, it can attain the eternal and experience the infinite bliss. This shloka is very important. Upadrashtanamanda cha bharta bhakta maheshwara paramatmiti apikto dehesmin purusha para. How the Supreme Soul present in the body manifests as Paramatma, Param Purush or Maheshwar is explained in this shloka. He watches the activities of the intellect. Whatever the jiva does under the influence of ego, the super soul just watches it. That is the role of Upadrashta, observer. He imparts energy to the body senses and nourishes them, Bharta. He experiences the sukha and dukkha of the intellect, Bhokta. This is all happening in different stages. First, that fragment of Paramatma is only Upadrashta. That means witness. Means in the bodies of ordinary people, he exists only as a witness. Like when we are driving, he sits just by our side, watching how we are driving. How we are driving is not his concern. The car, that means this body, is moving just because of his presence. But he is neutral. If the driver makes a mistake in driving, that means he makes mistakes in karmas, he is neutral. He doesn't comment, he doesn't interfere. He may indirectly indicate if we choose a wrong direction. How it indicates? Through our viveka buddhi, our discriminatory power. But he does not directly interfere. He does not say stop. He doesn't say that. That the Google map also doesn't say stop. It keeps on going, okay, take a U-turn and come back again here. So Paramatma doesn't stop us anywhere. It only indicates the direction you are going is not right. It may indicate that. That's all. So this is the beginning, Upadrashta. And when the man becomes little sattvic in his life and gets engaged into performing good karmas, reading, understanding, contemplating Bhagavad-Gītā, Vishnu Sahasranam, he started becoming sattvic. His condition becomes like a mother. The soul which was earlier Upadrashta, Paramatma who was earlier Upadrashta, that he has become now the not only observer. When the person becomes sattvic and he gets engaged in performing good karmas, the Paramatma's conditions in the body becomes like a mother who starts expecting achievement from her capable son. Lage raho, you are doing a good job, I like it. And the Paramatma becomes optimistic, hopeful about this. At this stage, he changes his role from witness Upadrashta to approver, Anumanta. So the role earlier was Upadrashta, witness. Now he has become Anumanta, the approver. Yes, what you are doing is right. Continue. I approve. This is the role change of Paramatma in our body. Meaning he starts approving our journey on the Sanmarga, on the spiritual path. He starts approving. He encourages and at times helps in our journey. If the sadhak continues faithfully in this journey of spiritual path, his role changes from approver, Anumanta, to caretaker, Bharta. In 9th Adhyaya we see, Yoga Kshemam Vahamyaham. My devotees, their yoga and kshem, I take care of it. So he becomes our caretaker, Bharta. The devotee starts experiencing this support of Paramatma as a Bharta in his life. The stage after this is devoid of kamanas and desires. Devotee's antakaran is now purified by performing nishkam karma for Paramatma. And at this stage, the role of Paramatma changes from Bharta, that means caretaker, to Bhokta, the enjoyer. He is enjoying whatever action karma we are doing. He starts enjoying at this stage this devotee. That means he is now no more a witness, nor an approver, nor a caretaker. Now he has become a partner of devotee, enjoying with the devotee. This is an incredible stage in the life of devotee. When the Paramatma becomes his partner, enjoying his karmas. At next stage, the mind, the intellect, kamanas of devotees gets surrendered to Paramatma. Sankalpa sthiti has become nirvikalpa sthiti. No sankalpa in the mind, no desire, no ichha. At this stage, the Ishwar in the devotee becomes Maheshwar. Ishwar becomes Maheshwar. Now the mind, the senses, the intellect of the devotee are no more his. This stage is called the union of Jiva with Shiva. When both of them unite, become one. They are not partner anymore, they have become one now. Jiv or Shiv ki ekta. This is that stage. This means the Hridayastha Paramatma, he enacts the roles right from witness to Maheshwar and keeps on changing the role depending on the progress made by the devotees on their path of spirituality. God responds according to our behavior. He changes role based on our behavior. And this is the important principle and message of Bhagavad Gita. That is why this sloka is very, very important. Let us do introspection and find what role the Paramatma is currently playing in our individual lives. Is it still a witness only? Is it still a Upadrashta only? If yes, then we need to wake up and progress more rapidly on the path of spirituality so that Upadrashta become Anumanta, Bharta, Bhokta, Maheshwara. If we are restricting his role to only as witness in us, then how can we expect response from him as a partner? It is for us to change his role in us and make him Maheshwar in us. Whatever is our attitude, our behavior, his response will be matching to that. His grace can be expected by our performing karma he expects from us and not doing some blind karma kanda. By just going to the temple and taking rounds in the temple every day or chanting some shlokas here and there, that is not means for attaining Paramatma. Okay, it is good, not bad, I would say. Loudly singing the bhajans of him. The karma that he expects us to do, kartavya karma, prescribed duties, are we doing that? Or we are doing only blind karma kanda for him? So this slok from that point of view is very important. Upadrashta Anumandaja Bharta Bhakta Maheshwara Paramatmitija Pikto Dehesmin Purushapara, and Upadrashta can become Maheshwar in our body based on our own karmas. Upadrashta Anumandaja Bharta Bhakta Maheshwara Paramatmitija Pikto Dehesmin Purushapara. With this we stop, and now the forum is open for all of you to raise your questions. Thank you so much for your patience. Jai Shri.
That was an enlightening session, and Bhaiya dealt in detail with regard to Kshetra and Kshetrajna, body and the soul. We'll be seeing more of this in coming sessions. Now it's time for question and answers. I request those who want to ask questions to raise their hands and switch on their cameras and wait for their turn. Please make the questions precise so that more questions can be taken. Yeah. Questions may be asked. Yeah. So one.
Jai Shri Krishna, sir.
Jai Shri
Thank you
Krishna.
so much for a beautiful session, and really we are so very blessed. And my quick question to you, sir, like when we are in our spiritual journey, we are doing our regular work, and of course we have the wanting that material needs are still there. So whether it may lead us to the next unfulfilled thing. For example, there are so many factors to achieve one goal. Maybe if it is not happen, I convince myself, okay, this is Ishwara Prasadaha, I take it. This time it has not happened. That's okay. So let me proceed with that. So that not happening thing may lead us my pending karma, or it may lead for my further continuity of the achievement. For example, I want to get one good package job. Okay, it is my dharmic need, right? Like for my material life I need, so still I am doing all my spiritual activities also, but unfortunately due to any reason, or fortunately I'm not getting. I'm trying to convince myself due to some reason, God is put me a hold on this, but still I have an expectation on the same thing, whether it is leading to me further, continuity of my desires. So you are saying like try to reduce your attachment or desire. I don't know. This is towards my career I'm asking.
Yeah.
So
See,
please guide us, sir.
you expect something good happening in your career is not wrong. But to get too much attached to that desire is what Paramatma is saying, that don't get attached too much to your desire. Expectation is okay, but whether it is happening to your choice or not is not in your hands. Karmanyavadhikarasya ma phaleshu kudachana, we know that famous shloka. So we should try our best and leave the results to him. When we have left the result to him, then what is the need of getting attached to the karma phala, to the fruits that I should get this? Any unfulfilled desire leads you to rebirth.
So we have to accept that if I'm not getting, that is the plan of him. So we have to accept and move forward.
Maybe
That's
probably you are going to get something better than that. This is the way we should convince ourselves that God has better plan for me. That's why he has deprived me of this opportunity. Maybe he has a better plan for me. Maybe he wants me to go into spirituality more strongly than the material life.
Than the material, obviously. Yes, sir.
So,
Yes.
if you get a very, very highly paying job, you earn 50 lakhs a year or 1 crore a year, then your attraction towards material world will increase. When Paramatma says Yoga Kshemam Vahamyam, he gives you what you really need and he maintains, he protects what you really need to protect.
True.
So he knows better than us, no? What is good in
Very
your
true,
interest.
sir. Very true. And one more thing, sir, like now you are telling that Paramatma will change the role in us. Like, for example, can we take it as now we are in Gita Pariwar, we are getting more satsang to recite Sahasranama, to recite, orient with people. So this is, we can take it as Paramatma is getting happy with me. That's why he's opening the next window for me. Like that, it will be, sir.
See, I can very candidly make a statement that all members of Gita Parivar, in their heart, the Paramatma is not Upadrashta. He has already become Anuvanta.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
And in many other cases, he has become Bharata Bhakta also. Maybe in some exclusive cases, he has become Maheshwar also. But this, as you have rightly gauged, we have to gauge ourselves. Where Paramatma in us is standing at the moment. Either he is still only as a witness only, then we have to bring it up to Hanumanta. And every member of Gita Parivar who is so with great efforts attending classes, attending Vivajan Satras, taking so much interest in asking questions, getting those clarified, is definitely in his heart, the Parma is already a Hanumanta.
Dhanyavadaha, sir. Thank you so much. Hari Om, sir. Jai Shri Krishna. Thank you, sir.
Kaushik Bhaiya, please ask question.
Jai Shri Krishna Bhaiya, Pranam.
Jai Shri Krishna, Pranam.
I'm this learner in this Bhakti and Gita, Gita study. And it is my pleasure that it's my luck that I have been listening to you. And this third chapter, 13th chapter is, though it is very much important, consequently it is very difficult to understand. But I have started understanding some little by listening from you. So it is God's grace. And still it will take some time to understand more.
Yes.
So our karma, our bhakti, and our jnana, these three combination of these three will lead us to God.
Yes.
One little question I have to ask to you. In our Gita Parivar edition of the Gita, Śrīmad-Bhagavadgītā, there are 34 verses. Well, I have read other Gita also which has 35 verses. Why this difference happens? Some of the Gita starts with Arjuna Uvacha, while our why this difference happens? That I would
This question is asked by many of our students also in the class. that Arjuna Vachak shloka is not there. The first question is from Arjuna, and then Paramatma is replying, Idam Shariram Kaunteya Kshetra Vedi Vidite. But in our
Okay.
PDF or in the books of Gita Press also, it starts with this Shri Bhagavan Vacha, Idam Shariram Kaunteya. So first slok, Arjuna Vacha is not there. See, Mahabharata consists of 1 lakh shlokas, 1 lakh. So
Okay.
Bhagavad Gita is an extract from Mahabharata.
Okay.
Probably to make it little concise, only 700 shlokas have been extracted and put in the form of Bhagavad Gita. So that question is there from Arjuna, but it does not deprive you of any knowledge of Gita.
Okay. But
The reply from Paramatma is self-sufficient. Whether Arjuna has asked that question or not asked, but Paramatma has replied that. Many adhyas, Paramatma is studying on his own. Idam dade goyidam praksham suye jnana vidyan sahinta yajnatma moksha shrivad or param bhuya pravakshami jnana jnanamuttam. Many adhyas are starting Shri Bhagavan Vacha only. There is no question from Arjuna. So likewise in this adhyaya also, the adhyaya is starting with explanation from Bhagavan, and that shlok from Arjuna has been dropped. Now since we follow strictly the Gita Press book of Gita, Bhagavad Gita, we also follow the same principle and we don't take that shlok of Arjuna. But as I say, it does not reduce the importance of Gita that we are learning.
good. But it will
You have become mute.
will it still our Gita will still remain total maintain the 700 the total
Yeah,
of
our Gita
700.
will maintain 700 sloks only. We will not add that slok.
Okay.
Yeah.
Pranam.
Jai Shri Krishna. Pranam.
जय श्री कृष्ण सर.
Jai Shri Krishna.
आई एम भूपेंद्र गुप्ता फ्रॉम शिमला. सर आपने
बोलिए.
धर्म का डेफिनेशन दिया था बहुत सुंदर.
हाँ हाँ.
प्लीज उसको वो कर दो, दोबारा से बोल देंगे आप उसको. धर्म का कोई एडजस्टमेंट बताया था आपने कि इसमें उसमें
धर्म
एडजस्टमेंट
को
है.
क्या बताया था?
डेफिनेशन दिया था कि धर्म जो है इस और इसमें एडजस्टमेंट है. आई फॉरगेट दैट, बट दैट वाज अ वेरी नाइस डेफिनेशन. कैन यू रिकॉल इट?
धर्म के काफी अर्थ हैं, लेकिन जो भगवत गीता में धर्म मतलब हमारा
वो नहीं,
कर्तव्य.
जब आपने विभूति योग बता रहे थे ना, विभूति योग, उसमें उस समय दिया था
अच्छा,
विभूति. हाँ जी.
ये नहीं पढ़ रहा आप कौन से श्लोक की बात कर रहे हैं, लेकिन जो अभी भगवत गीता का श्लोक है पहला, धर्म क्षेत्र कुरुक्षेत्र
हाँ
समवेदायुक्त धर्म क्षेत्र, ये पहला श्लोक है. और अगला श्लोक क्या है? यत्र योगेश्वर कृष्ण यत्र पार्थो धनुर्धर तत्र श्री विजयो भूतिर ध्रुवा नितिर मतिर मम. मम इज द लास्ट वर्ड एंड धर्म इज द फर्स्ट वर्ड. तो पहला शब्द और आखिर का शब्द आपने लिया तो धर्म मम, मेरा धर्म. तो भगवत गीता इज ए 700 श्लोकास स्क्रिप्चर दैट टीचेस अस कि मेरा धर्म क्या है. मेरा धर्म क्या है मतलब मेरा कर्तव्य कर्म क्या है. धर्म का अर्थ भगवत गीता में कर्तव्य कर्म, प्रिस्क्राइब ड्यूटी, ऐसा लेते हैं हम लोग. अर्जुन का
नहीं, उसमें
कर्तव्य
उन्होंने
कर्म
बताया
था.
था कि एडजस्टमेंट बिटवीन द दैट जो मतलब जो हमारा नेक्स्ट वो है स्पिरिचुअलिज्म एंड दिस, उसमें कुछ बताया था आपने, एडजस्टमेंट है इनकी, दैट इज धर्म.
अध्यात्म धर्म था.
वेरी नाइस.
अध्यात्म धर्म, अध्यात्म धर्म, अध्यात्म.
हाँ हाँ जी, हाँ जी.
हाँ, तो अध्यात्म, अध्यात्म मतलब अध्यात्म धर्म ये है कि जो हमारे जीवात्मा है, वो इज ए
हाँ जी.
फ्रैगमेंट ऑफ परमात्मा.
हाँ हाँ जी जी.
तो उसका हमारे जीवात्मा का परमात्मा से मिलन करवाना, जिसका कि वो हिस्सा है, जिसका वो फ्रैगमेंट है, जिसका कि वो टुकड़ा है छोटा सा.
मिलन करवाना धर्म है.
जर्नी जो बोलते हैं ना कि जीवात्मा
हाँ
का
जी.
परमात्मा से मिलन करवाना, वो है अध्यात्म धर्म.
वाह, थैंक यू सर.
वो है अध्यात्म धर्म.
थैंक यू. थैंक यू सर. थैंक यू वेरी मच सर.
थैंक यू.
थैंक यू वेरी मच. थैंक यू वेरी मच. जय श्री कृष्ण.
जय श्री कृष्ण. एनी अदर क्वेश्चन प्लीज?
देवेंद्र भैया.
जय श्री कृष्ण. देवेंद्र जी.
आवाज आ रही है मेरी?
या आ रही, बोलिए.
भैया, my question is related to this Shama and I mean forgiveness and Prarabdha. So suppose something bad happens to us, somebody is doing wrong to us, then we should forgive that person, consider it as our Prarabdha, or we should fight back, and how much we should fight back. I mean, that is some confusion.
See, Bhagavad Gita doesn't say that you keep quiet if somebody is doing injustice to you. In fact, Bhagavad Gita is said by Krishna only to fight the injustice. So if somebody has done injustice to you, somebody has taken away your rights, your rightful possession or your rightful things, what you should have, then you have to protest and you have to fight the way you should. But the result of that fight, whether it comes in your favor or not come in your favor, is not in your hands. So whatever result comes, you should accept it. And then forget it at that stage only. Otherwise, that hidden desire in your mind may play havoc. Because next many lives, you will be nurturing that desire. And many lives, you have to hold to that desire. That is why.
So there's a particular concept of forgiveness then. I mean, when should we forgive?
Forgiveness is you have to forgive the person for whatever wrong he has done to you. But as I said,
Then,
forgiveness
yeah.
does not mean that you should keep on accepting all injustice. You have to protest. You have to protest. But see, sometimes what happens is we take injustice done to us because he has favored somebody else. And that is why we compare that fellow has been favored and I have been disfavored. So that kind of thing is not correct. Then you should do kshama. You should do kshama only. But if a robber comes to our house and he starts robbing our place, and if we do kshama, okay, le lo, sab jao, then that will be foolish. Parmaatma doesn't say that kind of kshama. That is not kshama, that is foolishness. But as I said, in career or in our day-to-day material life, many people, suppose you go for an interview, 10 people face the interview, 1 gets selected, 9 gets rejected. The remaining 9, most of them will say, favoritism है यहाँ पे. उसका चाचा है, उसका भतीजा है, उसका चाचा है, मामा है, something like that. So that is wrong. You should accept the result of that and then forget at that place only. Forgive whatever has happened. Don't blame that.
In yesterday's session, one situation was told that I think it was about Buddha.
Yeah.
So somebody spit on his hand and he didn't get angry and he forgave him immediately. So this is something small, spitting, but it may be something bigger also, right? Somebody is slapping me or something like that.
Yeah.
So it is direct injustice to me, right? So should I forgive or should I not forgive?
Now the thing is, if somebody spits on Buddha's hand and Buddha gets irritated, he slaps that person, then what does it show? It shows the anger.
Right.
And anger is something which derails you from your path of spirituality.
Right.
So the only thing one can do is to explain to him that what you are doing is not in your interest also. By spitting on my hand, what exactly you are going to gain? You want to insult me? Speak whatever you want to speak against me. I don't mind at all. Because for me, man and Sanman both are equivalent. I am equipoised in all situations. So if we remain equipoised in all situations, then kshama becomes the next stage. Then we can pardon anybody if we take insult and respect in the same breath, in the same equanimity. But we take everything as our insult. If somebody does not give us something, we take it as our big insult, loss of prestige. And that is where we make the mistake. Because then our ego comes into picture. Ego is hurt. When ego and then this doership, then expectation of karma phala, these are all bad things, no? Gita teaches us this. So we have to do away with this. So there is a very thin borderline between when you should do kshama and we should take the corrective action. If it is affecting your personal prestige, you should better pardon him. If it is affecting society at large, then you should teach him a lesson. Personal thing should not come in kshama. Personal thing, if he is personally insulting you, you should adopt the path of kshama. But
if somebody takes my, suppose 50 lakhs, or somebody takes my, property, right? It is related to family also. So it is not related to society, but it is not just me also, it is family also. I'm just taking an example.
Yeah, yeah. This happens. In two brothers, it happens that some brother gets more, some brother gets less. Now, how somebody gets more property and somebody gets less property?
No, not more. Suppose somebody, some political leader or somebody, he forcefully takes my property. Okay, so I should fight back, right? I
Of
should
course, you
not
should
do.
fight.
I
You should
should
go to the
not
court
follow.
of law. You should fight out legally. You should fight out legally. Nothing stops you from fighting out legally. You should do
No,
it.
the
That is
thing
your
is that
rightful position. If somebody is taking away your rightful position, you have to protest and fight legally.
Or another thing is that I have enough money, I don't need it, I will forgive him. So that is another perspective. I can forgive him.
See, ultimately, whatever result the court case comes, we know in India how much time the court cases take.
So I don't want to get into court cases.
So at the end of the day, we have to say that I am fighting my case, but I have accepted mentally that I am not going to get back this in my lifetime. So we have to accept this and be happy with what we have today. Otherwise, our whole life will get disturbed.
Yeah, that's right. That's the reason I was asking this question. So when should we forgive and when should we fight? And how much we should fight?
So when our main purpose of life is to attain Paramatma, to go on the path of spirituality, is getting affected, then that is not the right thing to do. We should keep away from that material demand, material desires. If somebody has robbed you of few lakhs of rupees and if you are still able to maintain a good standard of life without that money, then on one side, you can go to the legal course of action, but internally in your mind, in your heart, you should forget about that and still continue the path on which you are going. So externally and internally. I mean, today we read one sloka. Okay, it may come in the next session also probably. Vashishta also had said the same thing to Rama, that externally you should fight out. Externally you should fight out for the right thing. But internally you should have the sense of non-doership, that I am not doing this. So our roles are this two-way roles we have to play, external and internal. Externally you have to behave like normal human beings. But internally in the heart of heart, Paramatma is interested in what is our external behavior. He's interested in what we think, what internally we think about it. Internally, we should be clear in our conscious, in our heart, in our antakaran. That even if I don't get that, I will continue with my path of spirituality. So long
We
as that
should
is
not attach.
happening,
We should not attach ourselves to that thing.
yes, right.
Yes. Okay, sir. Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Santosh Bhaiya, please ask.
Jai Shri Krishna Bhaiya. First of all, thank you very much for incredible explanation. We are privileged to learn from you. So actually a couple of questions. One thing you explained that we have no control over the events of pleasures and pain that we undergo in our life. So they come according to karma and destiny, if I understood correctly. We still try to create the pleasures of events, either via buying some things, either via some vacations, either via showing off someone sometimes to somewhere, other things like this. So how do we cope with this then? The tendency to create these events of pleasure still remains. So
see, in this Shraddha only, we have learned 20 virtues, which Paramatma has said, 20 virtues of attaining him. One of those was amanitva dambhitvam, adambha. What we are, we should show that only. Why should we make false show? If you see 20 virtues of this adhyay, I will tell you which from slok number 7. Amanitva dambhitvam ahisa kshanti rajavam acharyopasanam shaucham thermatva. Up to this slok 11, adhyatma jnana nityatvam tattva jnanartha darshanam. In this slokas, Paramatma is given 20 virtues by which we can attain him, we can understand him, we can attain him. Out of which amanitvam, that means 7th sloka. Amanit means don't expect respect from people. Adambhitva. Adambhitva is show what you are. Don't try to make false show. So these are ahimsa, shanti, arjavam, acharya, upasana, shaucham. So there are 20 virtues given, out of which one was this adambha. Now if we are doing something to show what we are not, then that is dambha. And Paramatma does not like dambha. What you are, that should be known to people. Don't try to make a false show.
Okay. Second question is that when you explain that when we do karma or puja, bhajan, chanting, that should be with the bhakti ras. It should not
Yes.
be dry, for
Yes.
example.
Yes,
But the
yes.
practical difficulty sometimes I experience is that how to create that all the time. It's not always easy to create that bhakti internally. It is because the mind is scattered or something else is in the mind and mouth chanting something else, so they are not in sync. So
See,
how
the
does
best way,
one
the best way to enter into bhakti is before you chant anything, when you go to temple or when you are sitting in your pujagar, close your eyes for a couple of minutes. Make your mind as thoughtless as possible and try to get connected with your Ishta Devata, with the God whom you want to worship. When you get mentally connected with your God, then you start chanting whatever you want to chant. Otherwise, it becomes a mechanical action. And mechanical action has no meaning. Our connection with the God, yoga, connection with the God is important. Without connection, the bhakti will not emerge.
so if we are chanting also and thinking something else,
Then that is not correct. People
that's
do
not correct.
Nama Japa watching TV serial. That is not correct, no? What is the sense in doing it? But you don't do anything. You are cheating God and you are cheating yourself also. You have mala in your hand, you are doing Shriram Jairam Jajaram in your mala, and your eyes are fixed on the TV screen. There is no point in doing such
And
Nama Japa.
not necessarily eyes, but internally also mind is.
Internally also. Then the mind is scattered everywhere. But in
Yeah.
the sixth Adhyaya, Paramatma has said, Yito Nischarati Manas Chanchalam Sthiram. Wherever the mind is going, bring it back. Again it goes, bring it back, bring it back. Ultimately, the mind gets tired. And it says, this fellow is not listening to me. Now I have to sit here only with him in this puja room or in this meditation room. So we have to pull our mind from wherever it is going and bring it back forcefully. Like the body, when it gets tired, it goes to sleep. Similarly, the mind, when it gets tired, it starts sitting at one place with you where you are doing meditation or chanting of that mantra or stotra. But this is the mental training you have to do.
Yeah. That is the one I found very challenging to focus and create a bhakti.
Concentration of mind is important. Concentration is important. Whatever we are doing, whether you are doing material activity or you are doing adhyatmic activity, mental concentration is a must.
It's easy to create a mental concentration when we are doing some material activity, for example, some job, other things, some task at the office.
Yeah. So same mental concentration should appear when we are doing some spiritual sadhana.
Yeah. I have one more question. Suppose we have taken some actions which has hurt someone else unknowingly. Like we call that in Marathi praichitta or other things. What does Gita say about it? That you acted upon certain things and it might have created or it has created some inconvenience, injustice to someone else unknowingly or knowingly. Do we really do some praichitta for that or that kind of things?
Yes, Bhagavad Gita, there are some shlokas which explain as to how we can ask for pardon from Bhagavan, from Shri Krishna. The shloka starts from I will tell you the slok numbers. Arjuna Vacha, Sthane Rishikesha Tava Prakriti. From slok number 36 of 11th Adhyay.
11th Adhyay, okay.
Slok number 36.
Okay, yeah.
Slok number 36 to up to this slok number 46. This 11 shlokas is called Kshama Prarthana Stotra. When Arjuna is asking for pardon from Lord Shri Krishna, that he has used some words, Saketi Matma Pratham Yeduktam, He Krishna, He Yadav, He Saketi, all this. So these 12 shlokas, or rather 11 shlokas, are considered to be the Kshama Prarthana Stotra of Bhagavad Gita. Normally people go to, if you are in Pune, people go to Alandi, and then in Alandi, they do some rounds of that around the Dhaneshwar temple, and then they chant these 11 shlokas. Ane Rishikeshato Prakriti Jagat Parushuddhajate Rakshansu Gita Nishadravanti Sarve Namasinti Siddhanga. Up to this, Kiritanam Gadine Chakrastam Ichhamitman Dashtaman Tataiva Tenaiva Rupena Chaturvujena Sahasravaho Bhava Vishnu Hote. So the 11 shlokas as a part of Gita are considered. So if something undesirable, unwillingly some papa karma has been committed by us, then we can go back with folded hands to the God. God is kind-hearted. He will take care of us.
Thank you, Bhaiya. Thank you a lot. Yeah. Jai Shri Krishna.
Jai
Shri Krishna, sir. Jai Shri Krishna. Thank you for the wonderful session, sir. Sir, I want to know, you said, I am not the soul. Then who am I, sir?
I am not?
I am not the soul. You said, soul is not I.
Yeah, soul is not. Soul is I, of course. I am soul only. I am not body. I am saying I am not body. I am soul.
I am not body, right? But you said in the session, you said, so I am not the soul. Soul is different.
No.
So what
soul
we do karma here, like rebirth we have to take, no? It depends on our karma. We should not blame our soul, you said, no?
The soul is what we really are. Before we got the body, the soul was there with us.
Yeah.
When we got the body, soul is there, and after the body
Soul and
perishes,
I are same, no? I and soul are the same.
The soul and body are two different things. We must
No, not
understand
body,
body.
I. Soul is I, no? I am the soul.
Soul is I, yes.
Okay.
Soul is I.
Okay. Then
That's what the Vaidya is all about. That we are not the body. We are not the kshetra.
No.
That is the gardener. We are the garden. We are not the garden. We are the gardener.
No. During the session, you said for our action, we should not blame our soul.
In what context?
So during the explanation, I heard that.
Some misunderstanding. We are not body. We are soul. That is what the.
We are not body. We are not mind.
Yeah.
We are the soul.
We are not body. We are not intellect. We are the soul.
That's we. When we are the soul, okay, sir.
Yeah.
If I am the soul, my question is clarified, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Shobha ji. Shobha Shalini ji.
Hi. Thank you, Bhaiya. Actually, I decided to ask this question because Ram Prasad Bhaiya just asked you that question, so that was my question as well. So what I'll just rephrase the question. You mentioned about us connecting to the soul and how we should be taking care of our karmas, right? Because then otherwise we are disconnected to Paramatma. So we consciously make an effort in doing good karmas, because if we don't, then the soul doesn't connect with us. Yeah, so that was the reference, I think. So because that was the question when came, because you probably framed it unless you meant the soul as being Paramatma and me being the soul and I being the soul.
No, there are three things. One is the body, another is soul, and third thing is super soul. That means the Paramatma. Now, Paramatma and soul both are residing in our body, which I gave you an example of two birds staying in the nest of our heart.
Yes.
Yeah. So that example. Now the question is, this soul, what we have in this life, this soul is with us for last several lives, and it will continue to be with us for next several lives till the time we don't get moksha.
Yes.
Okay. So if we do good karmas, this soul will get good bodies, good species, good birth.
Yes.
If we don't do good karmas, it may fall down to lower species. We are fortunate that we got human species in this life. If our karmas are bad and our next karma is bad, we may get the life of a donkey. Then our soul, who is enjoying the life of a human being today, he will have to downgrade himself and live the life of a dog.
Yeah.
So our karma decide where our soul will go in next life.
Yeah,
That is
that part I understood. But then, so that means to be connected. So this is the again reference. So that means I am the soul. So
yes,
that was that it was meant then to be Paramatma, then to be
yes,
connected. Only
uh,
then things will fall into place. Because
yes,
you mentioned at a later stage when we are connected and we are following a certain spiritual path,
yes,
as is the Paramatma would want us to connect, and
yes,
then only then things will start for and we'll be taken care of,
right.
right?
From that point
That
of
was
view, all of us should focus our attention and do contemplation, manan, chintan of slok number 22. उपद्रष्टा हनुमंता च भरता भोक्ता महेश्वर परमात्मेतिचा पिक्तो देहेस्मिन् पुरुष परा. So we decide what role Paramatma is playing in our life, whether he is a
Yes.
witness only or what exactly. So that slok from that point of view is very important.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Bhaiya.
Okay.
Thank you very
Thank
much
you.
for your wonderful views. Thank you.
Thank you.
Jai
Any
Shri
other
Krishna.
question, please? Jai Shri Krishna.
Yeah. So I think all the questions are over.
Okay.
Yeah. I extend my heartfelt gratitude to Vikas Vaidya ji for clearing the doubts of our sadhaks. On behalf of Geeta Pariwar and myself, I extend sincere thanks to the technical team consisting of Sunil Dhudbhaiya and all those who have been at the backstage for their relentless and efficient efforts in making the session a great success. May I take this opportunity to thank all those who attended this session. Please do continue your Gita sadhana and attend these sessions to enrich your spiritual knowledge. Today, it is my turn to recite Samapan Prarthana. May we all seek the blessings of Shri Krishna. Yogesham Satchidanandam Vasudevam Vrajapriyam Dharma Samsthapakam Virang Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum Shri Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum Sarvam Shri Krishna Arpanamastu. Now it's time to recite Hanuman Chalisa. I request each one of you to be present here to seek the blessings of Pavan Putra Hanuman.
Shri Guru Charan Saroj Raj Nij Manu Mukuru Sudhari Barana Raghubar Bimal Jasu Jodayak Phalachari बुद्धिहीन तनु जानके सुमिरौ पवन कुमार बल बुद्धि विद्या देहु मोहि हरहु कलेस विकार हनुमान ज्ञान गुण सागर जय कपीसति लोक उजागर रामदूत अतुलित बल धामा अंजनी पुत्र पवन सुत नामा महावीर विक्रम बजरंगी कुमति निवार सुमति के संगी कंचन बरन विराज सुबेसा कानन कुंडल कुंचित केसा हाथ वज्र और ध्वजा विराजे कांधे मूंज जनेऊ साजे शंकर सुवन केसरी नंदन तेज प्रताप महाजगबंदन विद्यावान गुणी अति चातुर राम काज करिबे को आतुर प्रभु चरित्र सुनिबे को रसिया राम लखन सीता मन बसिया सूक्ष्म रूप धरि सिंह दिखावा विकट रूप धरि लंक जरावा भीम रूप धरि असुर सहारे रामचंद्र के काज सवारे लाय सजीवन लखन जियाए श्री रघुबीर हर्षि उर लाए रघुपति कीन्ही बहुत बड़ाई तुम मम प्रिय भरत ही समभाई सहस बदन तुम्हरो जस गावै अस कहि श्रीपति कंठ लगावै सनकादिक ब्रह्मादि मुनीसा नारद सारद सहित अहिसा जम कुबेर दिगपाल जहाते कवि कोविद कहि सके कहाते तुम उपकार सुग्रीवहि कीन्हा राम मिलाय राजपद दीन्हा तुम्हरो मंत्र विभीषण माना लंकेश्वर भय सब जग जाना जुग युग सहस्र जो जन पर भानु लील्यो ताहि मधुर फल जानु प्रभु मुद्रिका मेलि मुख माहि जल दिलांघि गए अचरज नाही दुर्गम काज जगत के जेते सुगम अनुग्रह तुमरे तेते राम द्वारे तुम रखवारे होतन आज्ञा बिनु पैसारे सब सुख लहै तुम्हारी सरना तुम रक्षक काहू को डरना आपन तेज सम्हारो आपै तीनों लोक हाकते कापै भूत पिशाच निकट नहीं आवै महावीर जब नाम सुनावै नासै रोग हरै सब पीरा जपत निरंतर हनुमत बीरा संकट ते हनुमान छुड़ावै मन क्रम बचन ध्यान जो लावै सब पर राम तपस्वी राजा तिनके काज सकल तुम साजा और मनोरथ जो कोई लावै सोई अमित जीवन फल पावै चारों जुग पर ताप तुम्हारा है पर सिद्ध जगत उजियारा साधु संत के तुम रखवारे असुर निकंदन राम दुलारे अष्ट सिद्धि नौ निधि के दाता असबर दीन जानकी माता राम रसायन तुम्हारे पासा सदा रहो रघुपति के दासा तुम्हारे भजन राम को पावे जन्म जन्म के दुख बिसरावे अंत काल रघुबर पुर जाई जहाँ जन्म हरि भक्त कहाई और देवता चित्तन धरई हनुमत से सर्व सुख करई संकट कटई मिटई सब पीरा जो सुमिरै हनुमत बलबीरा जय 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 हनुमान गोसाई कृपा करहु गुरुदेव की नाई जो सत बार पाठ कर कोई छूट ही बंदी महासुख होई जो यह पढ़े हनुमान चालीसा होय सिद्धि साखी गौरी सा तुलसीदास सदा हरि चेरा की जय नाथ हृदय महडेरा पवन तनय संकट हरन मंगल मूर्ति रूप राम लखन सीता सहित हृदय बसहु सुर भूप सियावर रामचंद्र की जय पवन सुत हनुमान की जय।
I thank each one of you from the bottom of my heart for being there for Chalisa recital. May our week ahead be brighter and more beautiful. We shall see you back on another enlightening session next week.